Taking a deep breath, you contemplated how long you could stand in front of the door without anyone noticing. Sweat began to build upon your palms as your hand formed a fist, preparing itself for the moment you would build up enough courage to finally knock on the front door before you. Sighing out, it's now or never. You began to raise your fist, but the second it made contact with the wooden surface, the door swung open only to reveal the frustrated face of your boyfriend. About time your ass showed up, Katsuki grumbled before pulling you inside his humble abode. Tonight was the night you'd finally meet his parents after dating him for quite some time. He met your parents early on in the relationship, but whenever his parents were mentioned, he'd get defensive and deny you from meeting them. It took a lot of pestering until finally he gave in and invited you over for dinner with his family. At first, you were beyond excited, but then ideas began to well into your head about what sort of people raised Katsuki to be. Well, Katsuki. What if you made a fool of yourself in front of them and they forbade you from seeing their son? Surely they wouldn't be so rash. But your anxieties couldn't help but dream up every situation imaginable. Noticing your discomfort, Katsuki grabbed your hand and gave it a light squeeze. You look nice, he said under his breath. Sighing in relief, you gave him a sheepish grin before following him into the living room. Mom, Dad, this is Listener. Don't be weird, he said, gaining the attention of the couple sitting on the couch. Sitting up, his mom happily wrapped her arms around you. Ah, it's so nice to find out that you're actually real, she cheered, only to have Katsuki pull you from her grasp. My name is Mitsuki, and that's my husband, Masaru. But feel free to call us mom and dad, she exclaimed while gesturing towards the man still seated on the couch. He smiled sheepishly in return before standing up. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, he said. I told you guys not to be weird, Katsuki yelled, gripping your hand tightly. The only one being weird here is you, Katsu. Stop being so overprotective. His mom sighed before grabbing your free hand. We're glad you're here, Listener. Wait a minute. She stopped mid sentence before examining your hand closely. What moisturizer do you use, my dear? She finally questioned, staring wide eyed at you. Uh, I used the moisturizer I bought from a local street vendor a while back at the festival. You answered nervously. Of all the things you thought she'd be questioning you on, you didn't expect this. It wouldn't happen to be in a small white bottle with red flowers on it, filled with glycerin, would it? She asked, still keeping a hold of your hand. Widening your eyes, you nodded your head. Yeah, that's the one I use. You wouldn't happen to know the owner? I've been running low on the product, and I really like it, you exclaimed, beginning to come out of your nervous shell. Katsuki groaned as his mother began to squeal in excitement. I can't believe this, he muttered. Of course I know the owner because you're looking right at her, she said, smiling proudly while you stared at her in amazement. Really? I love your product so much. It's better than anything I've ever used before. What's your secret? You gushed out, forgetting all about your fears or noticing Katsuki sigh before following his father into the kitchen. It's all thanks to my quirk, really. I can produce glycerin, which is an amazing moisturizer. That's what keeps me looking so young. She chuckled before secreting some from her hand and applying it to yours, rubbing it in. You noticed how soft it made your skin feel. Before you could make another comment, though, Katsuki shouted, "Dinner's ready, dumbasses!" His mother immediately began to scold him for swearing as you chuckled. Noticing how similar the two are, following them into the dining room, the delicious smell of your favorite foods greeted you as besides as you sat beside your grumpy boyfriend. "Oh, thank you so much for the food," you said, smiling brightly at his parents. "Of course, dear. Thank you for joining us." Masaru responded with a delicate smile. "You're always welcome to come over, listener. You're like the child we always wished we had," Mitsuki exclaimed, only to have Katsuki shout, "What do you mean by that, asshole?" Laughing along with his father, you watched as as your boyfriend, Katsuki, continued to bicker with his mother. Your nerves from earlier didn't even exist at this point. You felt like right at home amongst the shouting. It was refreshing to say the least, and you knew you'd definitely be joining them for dinner again. After helping clean the plates with his father, you were greeted by his mother, shoving a paper bag into your hands. I don't make products often. I only made them after my anger management coach told me to get a hobby. But here's some of the leftovers I haven't sold. She said as you rummaged through the bag. "Thank you so much," you exclaimed, bringing you into a hug. She whispered into your ear, "Welcome to the family." Blushing lightly as you thanked her once again before you felt Katsuki grab your wrist and pull you out of the room. Following his lead, you entered into what you assumed was his bedroom. Sitting on the bed, he gestured for you to take a seat beside him. "Stop kissing my parents' asses. They're all over you." "I knew this would happen," he scolded, ruffling your hair in disapproval. "Aw, are you jealous, Katsu?" You cooed, using the nickname his mother used earlier. Blushing slightly, he pouted as you continued to poke fun at him. "So what if I am? You barely paid me any attention tonight," he mumbled, barely above a whisper. If not for the close proximity between you wouldn't have been able to hear him. Laying your head on his shoulder, you wrapped your arms around him and held him tight. "Oh, hush. You know that you're my number one. I just wanted to make a good impression on your parents and make you happy," you said, nuzzling your head onto his neck. "Damn right I'm your number one. Don't ever forget it," he mumbled into your hair. Gripping onto him tighter, you soon felt arms wrap around your waist in return. Soon enough, the two of you were laying on his bed, cuddling into one another. Listening to his steady heartbeat as your head rested on his chest, you sighed in content. Tonight went a lot better than you feared it would, but you knew deep down that Katsuki wouldn't leave your side, regardless of how his parents viewed you. Smiling brightly, you turned your head to look at your boyfriend, who was staring right back at you with a lopsided grin. Leaning in slowly, your lips made contact as the two of you kissed. It was soft and gentle. It seemed like quite the opposite of the boy, but it was perfect, just like him. Pulling away from the kiss, the two of you continued to stare into each other's eyes as you ran your hands through the spiky hair while he held your waist. Nothing could ruin this moment, not even a flash of a camera, and the awes coming from the brother's mother who stood in the doorway. Correction. The moment was ruined as soon as Katsuki realized his parents were snooping on the two of you as he shot up from the spot and proceeded to cuss them out. So that has been Meet the Parents from Deviant Art. I hope you enjoyed listening to me read the story. And yeah, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.